and who do so successfully. I yield to the gentleman from Illinois, Mr. Dold.
I want to thank the chairman for his leadership in trade, and certainly this is an important topic. Just last month, we were actually here in this chamber when the president came down to talk about jobs and the economy. And there's no doubt it is the #1 issue that faces our country today, regardless of what side of the aisle you sit on. The president got up and talked about his jobs package. And as opposed to saying, no, we don't want the jobs package, what I said and what a number of colleagues that I know have talked about is, what are the areas that we agree upon? And let's focus on those and try to pass those, because the American public is demanding that of us. Certainly top of that list are the free trade agreements. And when we talk about the free trade agreements, it's trade promotion, where we're actually setting the ground rules with foreign countries, where the United States can actually compete on a level playing field. And if we can compete on a level playing field, the American worker can win. In the 10th District of Illinois, we've got 650 manufacturers that represent over 80,000 jobs. Of those 80,000 jobs, over 50,000 of those jobs rely upon exports. You've heard the statistics from some of my colleagues here today talking about 73% of the world's purchasing power is outside of the United States. 95% of all consumers are outside of the United States. Just this last week, I had a manufacturers roundtable where part of the topic of discussion was demand. Well, if we want to increase demand, I would certainly argue that we need to be able to have access to markets outside of the United States. Just with South Korea alone, would add $10 billion onto our GDP. For each additional $1 billion of exports, we create 6,250 jobs in America. That is a jobs plan. We can create additional jobs. In Illinois, we've lost 750,000 manufacturing jobs over the last decade, and frankly, we need to turn that tide around. We know in order to be competitive in the United States, the world is not going to sit back and wait for us. The EU has signed its free trade agreement with Korea, with South Korea, Colombia with Canada, and you've heard from others that the world's not going to wait. We're losing market share as we speak, each and every day that we don't act. We must move forward. It represents a significant amount to our GDP, and we all know that if we don't act now, we're going to lose jobs. It must be putting jobs first and foremost that's going to allow us to move forward for our country. So I urge my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to stand up and embrace what the President has given to us. And I certainly appreciate the President sending us the free trade agreements. We told him we would act quickly. He sent them to us today, and today we're talking about them on the floor. We're going to act and act swiftly for the American people and for jobs. Mr. Chairman, I thank you so much for your leadership on this very important issue. It's about jobs in the economy and putting American workers back to work. And I yield back.
I appreciate the gentleman from Illinois, who comes from a state that understands